Hello, everyone. Hello, Peggy. Sorry, I was a couple seconds late coming in here. I just recently got off the phone with my daughter's neurologist. Hello, Mom. Hello, Frida. So I will be talking to you guys a little bit about that. We've got a lot of things going on, or actually coming up here in Stampin' Up. So you guys need to be prepared for that, especially those of you who are demonstrators. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Marcia. So I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here and let some of you guys come in so you guys can hear some of the updates. So I'm not having to keep going, which I mean I do anyways, but because I'm a talker. So I hope you guys had a great weekend and had good weather. Here it's been very, very mild, and it's been a little chilly. I do have to say, yesterday I was so cold. I don't know why. Well, maybe it's because I'm in this perimental pause. Mental pause, yes, is that I get hot and then I get cold. And as soon as I get the heater turned on, I have to kick it off because I'm sweating to death. That's how it was yesterday for me. Hello, Becky. Thank you so much for sharing, Becky. So yesterday I was having one of those moments. I had to get up. I put a sweatshirt on. I was freezing, put sweatpants on, put socks on. And then it like didn't get much above 60 in my house. So I got up and I turned the heater to 65, and then it hit 62 degrees and I had to shut it off because I was just dying. I was like, okay, I'm pulling the sweatshirt off, taking the socks off, and then I get cold again. So go figure, who knows? It's just one of those, I think my temperature gauge is broken internally. Hello, Jean. So yeah, so it was one of those kind of days yesterday, but it has been very dry. If you guys can see back behind me here, well, there's my daughter's walker, her walking mechanism there. But as you can see, I don't have a bed there anymore. Well, the mattress part is there. We have taken our bed apart and it is in the trailer to be hauled up there because I told my husband, I go, as soon as we get our bed taken apart, then this move is like real and we're doing it. So it was one of those things that it was like, okay, it just has to get done. Hello, Linda. Hello, Sierra. So I had to make sure that if we got that done, other things are going to, get picked up, because without having our bed, and I'm not one to be having my bed on the floor, because being here in Tucson, Arizona, as it heats up here, it brings out the critters. And at my mom's home, when we first moved down here, I didn't get that. Could you? We saw a scorpion on her carpet, and that freaked my daughter out, which, who wouldn't be freaked out about seeing a scorpion on the ground? So sleeping on the floor is just not my jam. So I told him, I said, but if we get the bed done, then we know that things are going to pick up. I also heard from my dad yesterday that our water line has been put in. So we are all in the clear for that. So now it's time to get our butts moving and get moved up there. Literally. Okay. So I had a doctor's appointment, or not a doctor's appointment, but a phone call earlier from my daughter's neurologist. They called to find out how everything was going since they caught a scorpion today or yesterday. See, I'm telling you, the scorpions are already out around here. So, and it's kind of crazy. We don't get things like that down here. Every once in a blue moon will we see like a snake down here, or see scorpions or Gila monsters or anything like that. I think it's because we have our properties are so much smaller down here. So we're all on 1 acre property down here. And then up at my mom's home, they're like 5-acre parcels. So you've got a lot less people disturbing the land of, oh, my kids caught one. Yes, years ago. You're right. Yeah, no way. They're creepy. Um, so there's more creepy crawlies. I know my mom, like every year, she always lets me know that, they had gotten a rattlesnake and they relocate him. Her neighbor, or soon to be my neighbor as well. Hello, Noreen. He is I don't remember what the name of that person is called, but he is big time into, maybe it's an anthropologist. I don't remember. Anyways, he's all about reptiles and bugs. He knows the name of every single bug and reptile there is. He's got cages that he helps rehabilitate, like lizards that have lost a tail or that have gotten semi run over. He helps and bring them back to the state that they can go back out into the wild and live. It's almost like a rescue kind of thing that he does, but he just does it on a low level, just at home. And so he belongs to a lot of the groups around here. So he always relocates the snakes and all the creepy crawlies that my mom finds because she won't touch them, which I don't blame her. No way. Oh, your son would love to meet him. Yeah, he's a kick. I mean, and then you have to understand that when our monsoons come, so our monsoons normally start, I think it's like July through September, October-ish is when our monsoons are here. We have Colorado toads. So if you don't know what a Colorado toad is, they are extremely poisonous to dogs and such. I know there is a population out there that uses them as kind of a drug. I don't know. But these Colorado toads have pockets on the sides of their heads and they shoot a secretion out. So if your dog goes to attack it or another animal goes to attack it, it kind of poisons the inside of the dog or other critter's mouth and it makes them extremely high. Like typically a small dog, if a small dog attacks one of these Colorado toads, it will cause the dog to have seizures. Now we've had a couple of dogs. There you go. A herpetologist. There you go. That word. So we've had a couple of dogs that go after these frogs and you have to relocate them. They are a, what do they call that? Where they're a thing here in Arizona where you can't like kill them or do anything like that, but they live in our grounds all year round until monsoons come and then the waters kind of flush them out of the ground. So when they come out during monsoon season, even my one dog that we have near now, he will go after them. So we have to quickly run out, make sure after it's rained, all these frogs are away from their cage that they go out and go to the bathroom in, because otherwise he'll go after them and it makes these dogs Looney Tune. Like they will spread out. Remember the old movie Bambi? And remember when Bambi gets on the ice and his legs, all four legs like shoot out and they fall to the ground and do the spinning? That's exactly what our dogs do. And it's really scary to watch. And like I said, smaller dogs sometimes have seizures due to it. It can lead to death. So that's pretty scary also. Hello, Kay. So anyways, on to what I was saying about, because squirrel, that's just me. My daughter's doctor, I talked to the nurse practitioner. They had called me. They had let me know that they had reviewed her notes from the swallow test and that he was really happy to hear about it. Also, we have amazing news. Those of you who know me and know my family or have watched me on here know that my daughter has Rett syndrome. So at the beginning of the month, they let us know that this has been in the works for over a decade now, that they have been working on a drug that would be available They did a couple of different trials. We've followed many families that have done the trial. It has now been FDA approved, this medication that would go out for our Rett kids, boys and girls, that has shown significant increase in the neurons in the brain. Some families, as the trial was going on, hello, Lorian, had said, thank you, Nancy, for sharing, that they had noticed the walking had gotten so much better, that the hand wringing had kind of stopped, that some of our girls and boys even had words. And I mean, I am just over the moon. Our community right now of Rett kids, oh, it's gonna make me tear up. Anyways, we're not gonna cry. Woo! So it has just been an amazing thing to watch, and to watch these kids learn skills that they have lost. And it is such an amazing thing that this has finally hit the FDA and has been approved for our kids and young women and older women who have Rett syndrome and have been dealing with this for all their life. Now, it will not be available to us until the end of April. Right now, the company, it's called Acadia Pharmaceuticals, is trying to work with the insurance companies, because as of now, the insurance companies are not covering it. It is a very, very costly medication, which infuriates me, but there's nothing I can do about that. I just feel like it's very unfair to create such hope and then go kind of like a kick or a punch in the throat, that it was like, oh, well, we made this, but unless you make, $25.4 million, can you afford it? So, I was just talking to the doctor about it. And again, that's why I was a couple of minutes or seconds late coming in here. Because they had called me, and the neurologist actually knew all about this study and the trial, because he follows quite a few Rett girls and Rett kids that he has been up to date on. The trofinetide is the name of the medication. So it was very, very awesome to hear that he knew about it, because I have heard other parents say that they have talked to their providers and their providers know nothing about it. So again, it just, makes me feel very happy that we have such an amazing team that works with my daughter, and that they're so on top of things. We just got very, very blessed with what we have. So I will keep you guys updated on how that goes in our lives. I am really, really excited. We'll just see how this journey goes. I mean, she's healthy and she's thriving and she's doing everything she needs to do as she is now. So I wouldn't change her for the world. But if we could get some improvement just for her, not for us, but for her, so she has a better what do you want to call it? A better thrive of life, or, just, I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it, but hello, Lynn. So, we're just waiting and seeing. We'll just sit back and just got enough other things going on in our lives that we can wait for that one. Okay, so on to some Stampin' Up news. Those of you who are who are demonstrators, geez, I can't talk. I'm too excited. Make sure you tune in to Demonstrator's Planning Place. Now that is here on Facebook. Hello, Kim. You will want to tune in on the 29th, because I believe it is Shannon West and the crew, the I think it's called DDMs, or maybe Sarah Douglas will be on there as well. They're going to be doing the color refresh for us and tell us all the colors that are sticking around and what colors they're going to be bringing back. So make sure you guys, you keep checking on the Demonstrator's Planning Place. I believe they did tell us in the updates, if you go to your Demonstrator's website, when, now this is only for you guys who are demonstrators. I just want to let you guys all know that if you're demonstrators, make sure you go into the updates on your Stampin' Up! Demonstrators website and check the last, what was it, last week? So Mondays, the 20th, make sure you look on there and see the information of what time it's going to be taking place, because I don't recall what time it was. But so you guys can go in there and you guys can check that out. So you need to be a part of the demonstrators planning place. So if you are not a demonstrator, you cannot participate in this. This is for just demonstrators. So I wanted to let you guys know that. Today I am going to be featuring the Dainty Delight bundle. I've got some really cute cards to show you guys. Also, we have winners of last week's cards that I'm going to do. And I have more cards. Thank you, Linda, for sharing. I have more cards that have come in for my father-in-law passing away. So I will share those with you guys because I know how much you guys love to see other people's creativity, because maybe it'll spark something in you. Now, most of these are sympathy cards. I know sympathy cards are very, very hard for most people to make because we know what we're giving them for. So this might give you a couple of ideas if you need a couple. So I'm going to get you guys flipped around, and then we will talk about a couple of things. We'll do some winners, and I'll show you those cards, and then we'll get into making today's cards. So hold on so I can get you guys flipped around. So close your eyes so you don't get sick. I will hold my hand here to keep it kind of dark for the moment until I can get this flipped around. Okay, I think we can see everything. Looking on my other device here, it looks like I can see everything pretty clear. I kind of look like I'm a little bit crooked though. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Or did I just make it worse? Oh, I did it the wrong way. All right, hold on. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. If not, we're just going to wing it. So you guys are here for my every Monday. I do my online free stamping class for you guys here on Facebook Live. You can check my events. You can see all my upcoming classes, lives, paper pumpkin alternatives, all that kind of stuff that is coming up. And you can, in that event, if you click into it and hit that going button, it will then send you notification of when I'm going live. Now on Thursdays on Coffee and Cards, that is done over on my YouTube page. So even if you click going in there, you will see, so the morning of that Thursday, I will put a direct link in there for my YouTube live. So then if you click on it, it'll just let you go right into the video when I go live. It'll keep you notified. Okay, all the little things paper pumpkin kit. Now this is a kit that you are not going to want to miss out on. This is going to give you enough supplies to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. It's going to come with 9 matching envelopes, some iridescent foil die cuts, 1 shaded spruce ink spot, and 1 photopolymer stamp set. And in this kit, they're going to be including a free box organizer. So you're going to get this, if you can see these little pieces of cardboard in here, this is going to give you an organizer to keep all of your stamp sets, or if you want to turn this into a sticky kit, you can do that. So you can put all your adhesives in there. You can manipulate how you set up your organizer. So if you have bigger like squares that you want for bigger pieces of craft supplies or whatever, you can design it the way that you want it to put your stuff in there. So I have put a link in the description of this video to go and check out the current paper pumpkin. So you guys can see that. Now, I did fail to mention that you have to subscribe to this by April 10th. will be the last day that you can get your hands on this kit. Mystery stamping for the month of April. I will put the supply list out on April 5th. And then on April 12th, I will do a Facebook Live. And that is when you guys will come in and join me and make a card with me. And then on the 19th, I will draw the winner of those of you who submit your cards over on Pink Barn Stampers group, which is my private group where all of my followers come over there, and that's where we can share cards and all that good stuff. Okay, so Peggy said that in the planning place that 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, so the 29th, is when they're going to be doing the refresh. Thank you so much, Peggy, for looking that up. That was amazing. Because God only knows I don't have the technology or the internet capacity to try to run multiple devices to look that up for you guys. So we do know that the retiring colors are the 2021, 2023. So these items that you see here are going to be retiring as far as we know. Now, whether or not they keep a couple of them, I have no idea. I will not know until the 29th. Now, myself, I hope to God that they keep Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen. I am not a person who really likes green, but I have become such a major fan of these two greens because we don't have anything else like them. And because we have so many florally, succulent, botanical stamp sets, these two colors work so well with so many of our stamps. Now, I know you guys were probably thinking that I was going to say, where's it at? The polished pink. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a major fan of polished pink, but I'm just digging these two greens. You know, I mean, they can bring a pink too, and I'm going to be perfectly happy with that. But I'm just really liking these greens. They really go with so many of our sets. But I'm not in charge of what we keep and what we don't. Because honestly, I'd keep them all, but can't do that. So know that if you have these stamp pads, go ahead and grab yourself the refills. I know some of them are getting on the low inventory. I didn't check today to see if any were out of stock, but know that once they're gone, they're gone. You will not be able to get them again. These are as supplies last. Okay, our online exclusives. Stampin' Up! Has just started in the month of March. Our online exclusives. So if you go to my store, which is shopdannygarola.com, and you hit the shop little button and go down, when you get to my store, the very first little banner that you're going to see is it's going to bring up the online exclusives. Now, what does that mean? Online exclusives. It pretty much is exactly what it says. They are only online. You will not find these products in any of our catalogs. You're only going to find them in my online store. Now, that being said, they will, throughout the year, they will add more and more products to that. And again, these are items that they could go on back order, because I do know a couple of these items are on back order, like the 2 punches are on back order. The loose frosted dots are on back order. So just know that some things they will bring back, and there will be other things that if you go into the store and it says, or it doesn't show up, then that means it is not available. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't come back. I think if it is on back order, it might say, oh, I don't remember what it's going to say. I don't want to tell you guys something wrong and it not be the way it is, and then have people get frustrated with me because I've said the wrong thing. So I'm just not going to say anything at all about that, because I don't remember. But just know that those things are going to kind of come and go as they sell out, and then they bring things back and yada yada. I also have adhesive kits for you guys. These are $30. You get everything as shown here, and they come in one of these super cute little bags. So that means you are going to get a 6-inch clear ruler. You're going to get a full pack of mini dimensionals, a full pack of regular size dimensionals. You're going to get a brand new green glue. You're going to get a sand eraser, an adhesive remover, a brand new pack of mini glue dots, and a brand new tear and tape, all stored in one of these cute little bags. All you actually need to add to that is a pair of snips, or maybe your take your pick tool, and you can go out the door. You can grab the paper pumpkin that you're going to get this month and have all your little ink spots all stored in there. So when you go to your stamp classes or you go to stamp camps or whatever it is that you go to, that you attend, you will have all your supplies with you. So you don't have to hope that the person has brought stuff for you. You already have it and not have to wait for that. So this is what one of these little kits look like. They're just these little bags, and then everything is stored nicely in there for you. You do have a lot of room in here. Like this, you probably wouldn't keep in the box. These, you would probably only need to take one out of there because it comes with 3 sheets of those dimensionals. So again, you have a lot of room. Take your pick, a pair of snips in there, and you're all good. So that $30 includes this bag with all the supplies in it. Plus that is going to get that shipped straight to you. So if you visit my blog, stampinthepinkbarn.com, on all of my blog posts, if you scroll down, you're going to see this picture right here. And so it's gonna, you just click on the picture and it will take you to order my, my kit. So just to let you guys know. All right, let me show you guys the beautiful cards that came to me this last week. Let me make sure these are not the ones that I've already showed you. I don't think they are. If they are, then you can see them again. Now, this one, this is from Gwen. This is such a beautiful card, how she has taken that paper and then stamped on the paper with a darker color, which is that Night of Navy. It says, with deepest sympathy and wishing you comfort and peace in the midst of your sorrow is what that says. Such a beautiful card. Thank you so much, Gwen. The next card that came, this is from Julie Cowles. This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at the shimmer on that paper. It almost turns to like a gold when you turn it. It's kind of got some iridescent to it. Beautiful, beautiful, and I love these little cherry blossoms. This says, may your sorrow be eased by wonderful memories. So such a beautiful card. All right, the next one is from Jane Van Grinsven. Look at this. Isn't that so bright and gorgeous? That's using that poppy, what is it called? Peaceful Moments. And the other stamp set that goes with that is the Painted Poppies. And she's used the 2 different colors of yellow on there to make that very vibrant. So such a gorgeous card again. And some of these you can actually put a different kind of sentiment on them and turn them into a different kind of occasion card. Look at this one right here. Isn't this stunning? Oh my gosh, I am in love with this. And look at the way this opens up. Now, this one is from Suzanne Scott. It says, thinking of you today. And she actually used both of those embossing folders that are the mini embossing folders. And then did kind of this watercolory rainbow in those 2 different colors. This is so gorgeous. This is that Horizon set. Okay, the next one is from Lorraine. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the colors of that flower. It almost makes it look like it's so realistic. So that is from Lorraine. This is from Miss Priscilla. Now, Priscilla, I got the honors of meeting when we were at our on-stage event over in Anaheim. She is one of my team members that I got to meet, and we got to have a great time together. So look how beautiful that is. That's using that celebrations paper that we had. Sending loving thoughts and prayers. Look at how neat that layout is. Very simple, but very elegant. Oh, look, she stamped a flower on the inside. Isn't that cool? With heartfelt sympathy. Okay, the next one is from D. Blythe. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that so cool how she cut that out to put that on the front of this card? Gorgeous. And then she even did some inside of the inside as well for such a beautiful saying on this card. Okay, and the next one, this is from, I believe this is from Miss Noreen. And I know Noreen is watching right now. Look at this. This is from Noreen Bandiff. Beautiful, beautiful card, Noreen. This is just stunning. And look how thoughtful she was to put this little angel in there. Isn't that gorgeous? I know I'm going to hang this on the wall when I get my craft room moved around. I don't want to do it now because otherwise it's going to get misplaced, and I sure the heck don't want that to happen. But this is such a gorgeous card, Noreen. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me get those out of the way. All right, so last week I did the Ready Rhinos. They are part of that online exclusives. So I am going to be giving these away to those of you who like, comment, and share. So I give one away for each one of those things. So when you come in here and you hit that like button, it's going to get you entered into the drawing. If you come in here and you comment, just let me know where you're watching me from. Come and say hi. You're going to get entered for commenting. Then when you do me a solid and you share this video, you're going to be entered in for the last card that I make. And normally I start out with kind of an easier card and I kind of get more elaborate with my last card. Just because I know I'm asking you guys such a huge favor to be sharing my video, that I'm going to give you guys kind of a little bit more amped up card. So when you share my video, please write in the comments, which again is going to get you entered into the comments drawing. Just write on there that you shared my video, because with some of the privacy settings that are set on people's pages, it doesn't always tell me that you've shared my video, and I don't want to miss anybody. If you've shared it, please make sure you just write shared, and I will make sure you get entered into the drawing. Okay, so for this first card, this is for liking last week's video, and I kind of just carried that grass over into the inside. But since it says it's a great day, I didn't want to put a sentiment in the inside, because this can go for so many different occasions that I want you to be able to put your own sentiment in the inside of there. This is going to go to Diana Blitzhertz for liking last week's video. So thank you so much, Diana. Okay, the next one is for commenting on last week's video. This one here I think is just adorable. I've put one of those little trees on the inside to kind of just carry over that theme to the inside. And again, I didn't put a sentiment in there. Since it says, hello, friend, you can add what it is that you want to put in the inside of this. Now for commenting, this is going to go to Melanie Foy. Now, I know Melanie has been in the state of Florida with her daughter, so I hope she comes back home soon. She is a fellow Arizonan, so kind of keeping tabs on her. I was trying to see if She popped in here. She might come in here in just a little bit. Now this one here, this is for sharing last week's video. I did some blending on the back on a white piece of paper and then stuck that lovely layers vellum over the top of it to kind of just bring kind of a little peekaboo of that color through, and then did it again on this square and then turn the square to make it look like a diamond, carrying those colors through. Now this one, I just kind of put a little hint of the blending on the inside of this. Now this is more of a birthday card. It says, "Hope your birthday is wild." This one is going to go to Nancy Olson. So Nancy, you guys keep watch for your happy mail. I will be putting these in the mail for you guys this week. So those of you who are watching, thank you guys so much. My name is Danny Garola with stampinthepinkbarn.com. You can visit my blog at any time to see everything that is new that is going on. I will be posting all the dimensions and the shopping list, and I will have still photos and a replay of this video over on my blog. Now that will be up by tomorrow, like noonish. I don't want to give myself like a cutoff time, but sometimes my internet is like last week. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get my video to upload because my internet was just acting so screwy. So I just want to let you guys know that it will be up and going by tomorrow. Now, my time is, you know, a different time than a lot of you because I'm over more on the West Coast time. And a lot of you guys are Eastern. So I know by the time I get it up, you guys are like, oh my gosh, it's already halfway through the day. Well, it's going to be there forever. You can look at it whenever you want. All right. So again, I am going to be showing the Dainty Delight. Now this is a gorgeous floral set. I love all these dies that come with this. So all of these floral images have a die that cuts them out. Well, maybe not all of them. Hold on. Oh, yes, they are. All 4 of these floral images can be cut out with the open dies. Then you've got this piece right here that you can actually do one on top and one on the bottom and make like an oval shape, like a ring of greenery, and then put some flowers on that and then put your sentiment in the middle. It is awesome for that. You've got a lot of little buildable flowers in here to add other elements to your cards. So this is a very, very awesome set. So not only do you get the florally images with this, but you also get 4 sentiments. Thank you for your kindness, sending love during this season of growth. Celebrate you. The best is yet to come. So we are going to be playing with this set. I need to let you guys know that on Thursday, since Thursday is the 30th, which you guys know the last Thursday of the month is when I do my paper pumpkin alternatives for the current kit that is out now, which is the 10 years of growth. This paper pumpkin kit, I will be doing the alternatives for this. I do want you to know that I am not going to be doing coffee and cards on the last Thursday of the month because I do have to get myself prepared to get all my cards made and scrapbook pages or whatever it is that I'm going to do, a 3D project. I don't know. But that's the day that I take the time to sit down and I come up with my ideas of what I'm going to do. And the last couple of months when I have done coffee and cards and this, I kind of very much overwhelm myself. And I'm not going to do that. So I feel like that's not fair to you guys and it's not fair to myself. Because then I'm just kind of like cramming things in there and I'm not taking the time to, you know, focus in on what I need to. So I just want you guys to know every last Thursday of the month, I will not do coffee and cards because it is going to be my paper pumpkin alternative day. So again, you can find that over in the events to see when that is happening. Okay, so for this card, I think I'm going to be using some of the Stylish Shapes dies. Now, I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I just kind of brought these in because I think I want to do a sentiment on one of these, but I don't know. We're going to kind of do it as we go here. So my card base is basic black. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to simply fold this. In half and burnish that down. So there's our card base. And then I am going to be grabbing a piece of basic white. Now this is 4 by 5.25. And this I am going to be embossing with the pretty flowers. Now, before I put that in my embossing folder, I'm just going to grab one of my Stampin' Spritzers, and I am just going to be using water. And I'm just going to give this a couple little spritzes of water, because you will notice that when you put it in your embossing folder and run that through with the water, it kind of softens up that paper and gives you a much crisper, deeper impression on your paper. So let me run that through over here. Now this is not a 3D folder, so all you need to do is use it and your regular plates. You don't have to use that specialty plate for that. So you're going to use plate 1 and then 2 of your number 3 plates. Okay, so there is that. Now that is called pretty flowers because they are very beautiful flowers. That is going to get layered right on there like that. Then I need a black piece of scrap, and I am going to take that ovally piece, and I'm going to lay that. You can see that I've already got this cut out just to save time, so I don't have to keep getting up and die cutting things and having things all over the table. I'm going to cut that out, and when I do, I'm going to come out with this very, very beautiful and dainty little black floral. Now this card would be beautiful for a graduation, for a wedding, all sorts of things. Okay, then I'm going to grab this piece right here, and I am going to grab some of our silver paper. So right here, some of my silver. I'm just going to grab a scrap of that, like that. Now that silver comes from the silver foil specialty pack. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to go cut out 3 of those. So I just have one more here to cut because I've already cut out 2. So let me just cut this out. I had missed one of my plates when I was doing that. Now, this little thing is very, very, very delicate. So when you pull that off of your silver piece, just know that it's kind of a dainty little piece. So let me bring all 3 of those in. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Well, if I can get that up without screwing it up. Okay. grab the glue here. So we're gonna need this, we're gonna need this, and then this is where I have to decide what I'm going to do. It kind of all comes down to, well, let's get this stuff adhered on here first. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue my white piece down. Now this is a very, very simple card. There's not much to this, but it is simple but elegant. Okay, just like that. This little piece right here is going to go on next, like that. It's kind of off towards the side. And I'm only going to attach glue to just some of these little thicker pieces here and some of the leaves to kind of just hold it in place. Very, very thin amount of glue. Just to make sure it stays. Yes, black and white cards are gorgeous. I agree. So I'm going to put that there. And again, can be used for so many occasions. All right, now grabbing these little pieces. I might snip off a little bit of this because it seems like it's kind of long. So that one's going to go kind of right down there. I might want to cut that a little bit more. The next one will go up here. And then we'll do one kind of in the middle. Running that down the line. Okay, I'm going to cut these because that is a little too long for my likings. Okay, so I think I'm debating whether or not I want those popped up, because I think if I pop them up, they might look a little funny. Yeah, I'm just going to put a dot of glue right here, and I'm going to actually place those down, and we're going to pop the sentiment. That's what we'll do. Okay, so this one's going to go right here. Now I'm going to kind of flick these little florally things up to give it some dimension, since I did not add the dimension to it. Okay, this one's going to go right up here in between these little pieces. Flip those up a little bit. Okay, and that one's going to go right there. Perfect. Just like that. Kind of like all those stems just kind of run together. Okay. So, so pretty. I'm trying to get this little, well, there we go. There we go. Then it blends in and it's not sticking over that. Okay, there's that. Now let's decide what we want to use here for our sentiment. Now, we can either do a banner. We could use, ooh, Don't throw things, lady. Don't get like that. We could do the best is yet to come. That would fit in the little circle. And then that could be the back. We can layer those, or we can use sending love during this season in the banner, or celebrate you. I think the best is yet to come. I'm going to do that in the circles. Okay, so I need a scrap of white. So let me grab that. I know I have a scrap of white sitting around here. Okay. I need this one. Okay, so I'm going to, as you can see, I've been playing with the leaves. The best is yet to come. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can emboss this in the silver. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in white and black. So I'm going to put that right there, give that a minute to marinate into that paper. Yes, doesn't the black and white, doesn't it just, it seems clean. That's what the way I think of it is. It just looks like a very clean kind of card, but very, very simple at that. So let me grab my little mini here and my plates. Okay, I'm going to take this and put this on here. And then a piece of washi to hold that. And we're going to cut that one out. Sorry, I'm shaking the heck out of you guys. So there is our little white circle. Then for this one, we need some black. So I'm just going to cut my scrap here so it'll fit in this. Okay, there's our little black circle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put this on here. And that's going to go right there. Glue. Gotta figure out what I'm looking for. Okay, and then I think we can either do some black dots, or you know what might be pretty is if we use some of the silver, the rhinestone basic jewels. I think those are going to be pretty on there. I like a little bit more bling. So, okay, there's that. We're going to pop this up. So let me grab some dimensionals here. That sheet is done. Okay, there's that. I think we're going to do rhinestones. I think they're going to be prettier. Kind of just bling this up just a little bit more. Okay, so let's grab a couple of these little ones. Add one there. Let's do one right there. And then let's grab a big one and put it right there. I don't think I like the placement of that one, so we're just going to move it. There we go. There we go. What do you guys think of that? Isn't that beautiful? Again, very, very, very simple. There is not much added to that, but it is very elegant looking and can be done. Now this would be a great card to just make multiples of. Cut out all your little black ones, cut out your little silver ones, do a couple of your circles, run some of your paper through that embossing folder, and bam, you've got a whole, like, hey, maybe somebody might want you to make their wedding invitations. Wouldn't those be beautiful? And it wouldn't take a lot of your time. That's what I always look at. I don't have a lot of time to waste, so every minute counts. All right, let me wash this because I'm probably going to use it for another card, but I don't want to stick anything in it since it's got black ink on it. Make sure when you guys go into my store to buy this bundle and some of your cardstock that you're going to need, make sure you add a chamois to that, because you're definitely going to want a chamois to clean your stamps. This thing, as you can see, that stamp looks like brand new because that's how good it is. All right, so that is card number 1. All right, so I'm going to leave all of my little pieces out here because, like I said, we're pretty much sticking with this set. So the next set that I'm going to use, I'm going to actually bring in, this is the new set. This is a die set. This is called the Radiating Stitches dies. Now, this is in that online exclusives. So this comes with 6 dies. You're going to get these frames that layered together. So you get 3 different size frames. You get a heart, and then you get 2 different size circles here. So very, very cool. Okay, so we're going to be using that. So what I need to do is I need to grab a piece of white. When I grab a piece of white, I'm going to take the, which one am I going to use? I think I'm going to use the middle square here, rectangle, and I'm going to die cut that. And when I do, I get a piece that looks like that. So see how pretty that is with the little embossed marks around the outside. It really kind of just adds a whole different element to this little piece here. My card base is going to be one of those retiring colors. Now this is that fresh freesia, very, very gorgeous purple. We're going to fold this in half. And burnish that down. I need a piece of, this is from our, this is the 2021-2023 in color 6x6. Again, this will be retiring. I grabbed a piece of the fresh freesia. This is 4 by 5 1/4. That's gonna just get laid like that. Then I grabbed a piece of Starry Sky. I measured this and then did a 1/4 inch thicker. So this is measuring, this is 2 3/4. Oops, wait a minute. No, 2 7/8 by 4 1/4. And then this piece will just layer right on there like that. That is going to go on there because I just love that Starry Sky with that fresh freesia. It really kind of makes everything pop. Now, what I need to do is I need to get a scrap of my Starry Sky. And I am going to die cut 2 of these little bushels of flowers. So when I go die cut those, ooh, don't lose the die. I'm going to get 2 of these little bushels, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to take, maybe if I can hang on to the darn thing, I'm going to take this one again, and I'm going to use a scrap of old olive. So just take my old olive, and I'm going to go cut that out. And when I do, it is going to give me a piece that looks like this, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that right at this little leaf down here at the bottom, and I'm going to cut that in half, leaving me with 2 sprigs now, okay? So when you pretty much cut that out, you're going to get the full piece. So right here, I took this, because this would be attached right like that. See how that would be attached? And I just cut that away from each other. And now you can pick wherever you want to cut them apart, depending on the height and everything of you want of each one of these. Hold on, I need to take a drink. And then using some fresh freesia, grabbing a scrap of fresh freesia, I am then going to cut out 2 of these flowers here. Cut out 2 of those and 2 of the little half flowers. So just like that, okay? So 2 of each one of those. When I do, I get these. So there's the halves right up there. And there's the full flowers right here. Now let me show you something that's kind of fun that you can do. I'm not going to do it today, but you can take these little flowers right here, and especially if you do them in 2 different colors, and you can lay them together just like that, and you can see the contrast of both colors when you have those laying together. I love flowers that do this. We have our daisy punch that does kind of that same thing. You can cut them out in 2 different coordinating colors, and they are just so cool because they just coordinate every time you see a different petal. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this adhered to my starry sky blue piece. Now this starry sky is also an in color, but it is not leaving us for another year because it is part of the 2022-2024 collection. So we know that will be sticking around. Okay, let's, ooh, you know what? Maybe I like, well, we've got options, folks. I forgot there's 2 sides to a designer series paper. I kind of like that lined one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Hold on. Let me flip this over. Now, I won't adhere that down yet. We're going to go ahead and dress up our little focal point here. And then we can decide, once we have all of our layers on here, that might be our deciding factor, what side we want that to kind of be facing. All right, again, I'm going to come in here with some glue. I'm going to actually do a dry fit first, just to make sure I have what I'm doing here. Okay, that's going to go like that. I'm going to kind of turn that in. All right, now grabbing this little piece. So you can actually cut this up multiple times to make different little greeneries behind this to make it look like you have foliage behind your flowers. All right, so I'm going to now decide where I want, oh, I've got glue on my hands, where I want to put these little bushels, kind of like that. I'm gonna do one of these right there. Now, you know what? I might factually, I might take this flower and do that like that. Ooh, what do you guys think? Ooh, I like that. I didn't think I would, but I do. And then maybe we'll put that flower right there. Ooh, I like that. What do you guys think? That looks good. Okay, so we're going to leave that. So I'm going to glue these down and we'll pop our flowers up. Okay, put that there. So you guys like that flower like that? Isn't that cool when you can do that with flowers? Okay, that's going to go there. So you still see some of that green behind there like you would when you look into a thing of flowers. All right, we need to, now what I'm going to do with this, since I'm going to put those two together, I'm going to take a mini glue dot and I'm going to just place that mini glue dot right in the center of that flower. And then now that flower will stick to this flower. Now I got to try to get this even Steven. Beautiful, and it worked. All right, so I'm going to take the top layer off of my dimensional and I'm going to actually pop that on there like that. And then my dimensional's right on the back. Now you can take and fluff up your layers to give that little flower some more dimension. Kind of flail those up a little bit. All right, we're going to put that one right up here on the tippity top. Give it some fluff. Fluff it up. All right, now this one, I'm going to take one of these dimensionals and I'm going to very, very carefully cut this in half without cutting fingers because our snips are extremely sharp and I don't want anybody cutting themselves, but it'll create a half little crescent that will then fit that little dimensional perfectly on the back of this flower like that. This one, I don't like it there. I like it right here. Okay, and then this one, my dimensional is still hanging out on the back of this little piece. And I don't have fingernails because they seem to just break and fall off my hands. I can't keep fingernails for the life of me. And I'm too cheap to go get my nails done. Well, the other thing is because I do so many things, like I'm out messing with animal feed and all that kind of stuff, and I just don't get my nails done because what's the point? They're just going to get jacked up anyways. So every once in a while I'll buy myself some fancy little nails to put on, but other than that, I don't have the time for all that. I love them when they're done. They look great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm moving. I don't want to go pay to have nails done and then have the darn things get broken. All right. I think we need some little blings on here. Now we got to decide. We've got so many decisions here. Oh no, that's not going to look good. Nope. There is a purple I'm thinking of. Now we've got, those are the fresh freesia. Those would be pretty on our flowers. So those might be an option. Let's keep looking. Let's see, we've got so much to decide from in this. Now see, we've got those little flowers there too. We've got some straight up iridescent little gems. That would be gorgeous. Just got too many. Ooh, look, those are pretty. But those I think would blend in too much. I don't want those. Or we can just go with, we have our 2022, 2024 in color matte decorative dots that we could put the dark starry sky in the middle of there to kind of tie all those colors together. What do you guys think? These are kind of pretty though. Should we do some iridescence? Because look at how all those colors kind of pop. I think we're going to do some iridescent. Why not? I haven't played with those in a while. So we're going to do two of the small ones to go right in the center of these. Like that. And then we're going to use, we're just going to go big. Go big or go home. There we go. Ooh, that is so pretty. Love it. All right. So this is where we need to decide what side of this paper we like to be. All right, let's get all these out of the way because they're kind of distracting. So we could do this side of the designer series paper with that. Okay, you guys see that? Or we can flip it, do more of that lined. What do you guys think? Can you guys even see that? Is it too far away? So there it is on the lined piece, which you can kind of see a little white stripe in there. And maybe that's why I'm kind of liking that striped side, because you can see the white and it grabs the white from that paper. Or let me flip it over and show you what this side looks like. Now this side does not have any white on it, but it looks like that. The lined, okay, good. I like the lined better too. Beautiful. Okay, place that. We're gonna pop this up. Sometimes my brand new pack of dimensionals just want to keep bringing that backing up, and it's really hard to kind of get them off of there when I don't see like that. It just took the whole thing, darn it. Well, I need that piece now. Okay. I am glad you like this card, Peggy. When I was trying to create these the other day, I just thought, well, see, and putting that flower together just kind of came to me, and I really like how that looks. Now, we can leave it the way it is and then add a sentiment to the inside, because this kind of says it all, and you don't always have to have a sentiment on the outside. But if we wanted to, we could look at a couple different options here. We could either put a banner down here. Ooh, that one's too big. I don't like that. We could take, like we did last week, and we can shorten this up and put a little banner across here and have it kind of shorten up. or we can leave it alone and do our sentiment in the inside. What do you guys think? Do you think that it would kind of take away from the card's integrity and this beautiful floral image if we put a sentiment on there? Or do you think we should put a sentiment on there? Sentiment or no sentiment? Leave it. Okay. So one vote to just leave it alone. Anybody else? Leave it alone. All right. Well, I think we're going to leave it. Oh, if I can get these sentiment on the inside. Absolutely, Kay. Yep. I think everybody has got the same idea. Okay. So that is card number 2. And as you guys know, I will put an inside to these cards and make them match on the inside. I will not put a sentiment on cards like this because I want whoever wins this to be able to send this to whoever they want to and do it for whatever occasion they want to, because this card here could be used for God knows how many occasions. Kind of like with this one, the best is yet to come. Well, you could put a million different kinds of sentiments in the inside. So I like to leave the insides just blank. Of course, I will put a layer and stuff in there and make them pretty, but I like to leave them alone as far as sentiments in the inside. So you guys as winners can do your own la-line it up. Okay, so let's get some of this stuff out of the way. So I'm kind of starting fresh where I'm at. Okay, so our next card is our 3rd card of the night, of the evening. And I hope it turns out as pretty as I'm thinking it's going to turn out in my head, because, I had an idea, but that doesn't always mean that my ideas come out correctly. All right, so again, inside of our online exclusives, we have a 3-pack of the basic 3D embossing folders. Now, this is just one of them. We have a polka dot one, and then we have like a little checkered looking little lined one that we have. All 3 of them come together in a set. So it's a good way to get some 3D embossing folders so you can use them for many, many projects to come. My card base is polished pink. Now this is, again, one of those colors that are leaving us along with the fresh freesia. This is 11 by 4 1/4. I have scored it at 5 1/2 because since my paper is longwise, if I was to just simply try to fold this, it's going to crinkle up over here because it's going against the grain of me folding it. So just know that when you cut your paper long ways and you go to make a base, make sure you always score it. If you're just going to fold it on the long ways, you can fold that and it's towards the grain, so it doesn't leave any goofy jagged edges up there. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that and burnish that down. Okay, just like that. That is, again, polished pink. Okay, the next piece that I need is a piece of that silver again. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Now, this paper comes a little bit wrinkly, but you'll see when I get there. Then I am going to grab, now I am not certain on what color I want as my next layer. I kind of sat here earlier and I contemplated whether I liked the white or the black on this silver. Now, I'm pretty sure I like the black because it's really going to show that silver behind it. But either way, you can do it. I might actually do both of these and then we can see, but you know what, I'm just going to go with the black because I really think the black is going to look much better with what I'm trying to do. Now, I have grabbed the framed florets dies, And I'm going to be using both of these ovals right here. So I'm going to be using this heart one first. This is the hearts. Now I'm pretty sure this will fit in my little machine, I hope. But first I want to, no, I'm going to cut this first, and then we're going to put it in the embossing folder, because otherwise if I try to emboss it and try to run it again, it's going to smash it. So I'm going to, oh, the size of this. This is 3 1/4 by 5. All right, so I need to make sure my hearts are facing the right way. I mean, I can always flip this paper around if they're not, but for time's sakes, I think, ooh, that might just fit in there. Let's see. If not, I'll have to go to the big machine. But we're going to test the waters here. I think it'll work. I think it might just work Jim Dandy in there. Okay, I'm going to put a piece down here. Again, like I said, if it doesn't work, we'll go to the bigger machine, but I think it's gonna do its job. Okay, so when you see, this is going to cut out a whole bunch of little hearts out of this black layer. Okay. So when we take those out, as you can see right here, you've got heart confetti. Do you see all these little hearts? Now you can save these, put these in a jar, and you can have these to add to other cards as little elements, because you get a bagillion little hearts. You can use them on your very, 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 very close friends. You can do a bunch of these and put into a card. Now, your friend might not be such a good friend when you're done doing this, but you can throw a bunch of these little hearts inside of the card, but make sure that the crease is down, so when they pull the card out, they get confetti bombed. Again, I only recommend you doing that to your very, very close friends, because otherwise you might have an enemy if you do that to somebody who doesn't quite know you well. I remember back in the day when glitter was like the big thing. And I remember people putting glitter in cards and glitter bombing the hell out of people. I mean, it was ridiculous, like no joke. And yeah, I think glitter is now something that a lot of people dislike because of other people doing that to them. Okay. Now I am going to, whether or not we use this, again, it's just kind of something that I'm going to just cut and make sure I have handy. I'm going to take this oval shape now, and I'm going to cut that out of another piece of that silver. And when I do, I'm going to come out with this, and the center will get cut out, and I don't need the center for that one. But let me actually see, because this might be overkill. Because in my mind, it might look one way, but then when I go to add it to a card, it's like, oh my goodness, that is like very, very gaudy. Ooh, no, okay, I do like it. And then I cut that same oval shape out of a piece of white. And this time, instead of using this outer layer, I'm simply going to use the inside. And we're going to put that inside of that oval when we go to glue this down. So do you see how you can see all those little silver hearts poking through there? Now this would also be equally as beautiful with a silver card. But for now, what I'm going to do with this is move all these little pieces, move my plates here. I'm going to take my water and spritz this, and I'm going to run it through this embossing folder, because I think this needs a little bit of texture. Now, since this is 3D, we need to use our specialty plate. So you just want your plate 1 and your plate 4 with your embossing folder in between. Make sure your hinge of your embossing folder is always facing the way that it's rolling through. You don't want to put this in because if it wrinkles, it'll wind up tearing your hinge right here. So make sure when you roll it through, you go like this. And if you need to roll it through again, spin it and make sure the hinge is going through first. Okay. There we go. I think that is so pretty. I think that really just adds a lot to this piece of paper here because we've got so many flat textures going on. I really wanted to add something to that. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this straight to this silver piece so I make sure it gets adhered because since this is shiny, it's going to take a few minutes for this piece to adhere down to that. And I need to make sure that I don't slip it around a whole heck of a lot because it's shiny and it will slip and slide. Okay, holding that down to make sure that it adheres. Okay, then I'm gonna stick that. Now see, this is because that paper's bending. I'm gonna go ahead and lay this on my card base. Try to keep everything flat. Come on. All right, there we go. Now everything is sticky. Now this is gonna go here. Okay. This is gonna go in the center of that. Now we need a scrap of white. And I am going to take this floral image right here. So this one. Oh my goodness, this thing is really stuck on here. Come on, play nice. All right, and I'm gonna use my big block here. And I'm gonna stamp this in Memento. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that stand. You guys don't wanna feel like you guys are at the fair and on one of those crazy rides. Okay, I'm going to stamp that. Give it a second to adhere down. Trying to think if Mossy Meadow, or wait a minute, I think I might want to add, ooh yeah, I like Granny Apple with that because of that pink. Granny Apple looks really, really good on that. Now hold on, let me find a scrap of Granny Apple because I want to add some foliage to this. So let me find, actually, you know what? Maybe soft succulent. Ooh, soft succulent. Yep, we're going to do that. That's not long enough though. Hold on. Let me dig through the scraps here. I just saw a longer piece. Now this was not planned, but I think it needs it. Oh, of course. Where is, I just had another piece of soft succulent. For the love. Dig, dig, dig through my scrap bin here. Okay, well, it's not in there, so let me go to my other, because I'm pretty sure I have a piece in here. I've got so many scrap bins, you guys, it's kind of ridiculous. There we go. That's what I needed. Because I have full card bases. Like, look, in this bin, I have big pieces, that, well, this one doesn't go in there, but I have all my card bases cut. So when I need a card base, I can just come right in here to this one. And then I have another drawer that just has nothing but scraps that I can just cut pieces out of. Do you guys have bins like this, or am I the only hot mess that has this? I surely cannot be the only person that has a mess that looks like that. Okay, I'm gonna take that little scrap off. Now I am going to take this and I am going to cut it out. See, that's how that little piece, and it's pretty fragile, so be careful when you're trying to pull it out of this so you don't break any of your little leaves off. Okay, that we're done with. Put this all back over here. Pretty sure, well, we have to do another cutting, but that's with our image. So I'm going to move this out of the way for the moment because we got to get some other stuff taken care of here. Okay, there's that. Now, there's all these little pieces that need to be kind of plucked out of here. There we go. Very, very cool. Now, this piece can be glued down. Now I'm just going to watch all the edges to make sure I get that pretty centered in that. Okay, I am going to need, I think I'm going to need my soft succulent. Because I think since our card is mainly the pink, I think I'm going to stamp my sentiment in soft succulent, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there because I'm not certain yet if that's what I want to do. All right, this is now going to go in here, but again, we're going to stamp a sentiment in there, so I don't want to go too crazy yet. Let's go ahead and get our flowers colored here. So I'm using my polished pink Stampin' Blends here. I'm going to use the light color for these, and then I can always go back and add some shadowing on them. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to grab the dark. Kind of just come in here on some of these little tick marks that are already here. Kind of add some of that darker. Kind of like there's a shadow underneath some of those petals. Okay, then I am going to grab soft succulent, and I'm going to grab the light soft succulent and color in the leaves. Now, since these flowers are exactly as the stamp set's name says it is, they're dainty, that's why I'm using the brush nib, because it comes to a very, very, very fine point that I can have more control over how much ink is being applied versus using the nibbed in on the other side that is kind of a flatter, more round tip that I would kind of be coloring outside of the lines. And I just am not wanting to do that with this image. Some images you're perfectly okay to color outside of the lines, but this one, it is exactly as the name says it is when it comes to these flowers. It is little dainty flowers. Okay, just doing kind of some of the under leaves that are on some of those flowers like that. Oops, I've forgotten a couple here. Missed a couple of these leaves. All right, there we go. That's good. Okay, we're gonna die cut this out. So I need to take my snips here and just cut the excess of that off so it'll fit through my machine. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Okay, put this in, and find the correct, is this it? I think it is. Yep, by golly. Okay, I'm going to put that like that, and then put this one right across here to hold that in place. And then get that to moving. All right, there is our little flowers. Get rid of this. All right, card. All right, so I think I'm going to cut this down a little bit because I think it's a little too big for what I want. Yeah, it's going to be way too big. Okay, and then this is going to go right like that. Our little circle's going to be in there like that. So I need to cut this roughly, whoops, let's see, about right there. So I'm going to just go around the outside of this little leaf to make it look like it actually was meant to be cut like that, because then I can still use that piece maybe again somewhere else on here. Let's decide that if we have this around here like this and like that, should we use soft succulent for the sentiment, or should we bring in polished pink? Because we don't have much pink on there. I think actually polished pink might look better. What do you guys think? If I have that there, whoops, it's not very straight, but you get what I'm saying. Do you think our sentiment should be in polished pink or soft succulent? I'm very torn. This is where you guys need to tell me what color we want the sentiment in. Pink. Okay, we have one vote pink. Pink, another pink. Oh, one vote soft succulent. Another vote polished pink. Try pink, okay. All right, I think we're gonna go with pink. We've got quite a few pinks popping up here. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put this right as close to the edge over here as I can. Just like that. Now, if we don't like this, we can always flip it over and try the 5 to 1. There you go. Okay, so if we add that in there, I think we had one more soft succulent towards the end there. Add that like that. And then put this little floral image kind of coming down like this. Yeah, I definitely think I like the pink. And then we can bring in some of the pink. Okay, yep, we're gonna go with that. Okay, give that a few seconds to adhere to that embossed paper there. All right. I'm going to bring this over here. Now see, all of you guys who say other things, that's when you get to now go make this card the way you liked it and share it with us over on Pink Barn Stampers. That's your job. Okay, this is gonna go right like so, like that. I was thinking I need to pop this up. Yep, that needs to be popped up. Okay, there we go with that. Then there it is. It's hiding right there. So we can add either some soft succulent or some pink. Here's a pink. There's a soft succulent. What do you think as far as the embellishments? Do you like the soft succulent or do you like the pink? I think I actually like the soft succulent with the pink sentiment. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna make the decision on that because I think it just really looks good with the soft, but this needs to come up because it's too little to be down there by itself. Okay, good. You guys all agree with me. Good. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to put the big one right over here. And then we're going to do another little one. Let's say, oh, you're not going to see it over there. Let's do the other one right there. There we go. Okay, maybe not. Shouldn't be that difficult to decide where the heck the embellishments go, but sometimes it's just one of those things that it's like, ugh. Okay, you know what? It is going to go back over there because that looks okay. No, it doesn't. There we go. What if we need a couple more? Let's put 2 more on there. I think maybe that's what it needs. No, that's overkill. All right, leave it alone. Quit messing with it, lady. All right, so let's get some of this moved and put away so you guys can actually see all 3 of these cards. I hope this inspires you guys to now add this set to your order. Again, this is the Dainty Delights. Don't forget to put a chamois on there because you're going to want to clean your stamps. And again, I'm going to show you really quick how easy these chamois are. Now, these chamois will come nice and clean. They're going to get stained up. You are simply going to take this to your sink and you're going to rinse it out with cold water, and then you're going to switch your water to hot and rinse it out with hot water. Now, 2 different, your warms and your cold tones are going to come out of this with your different, thank you, Becky, for sharing. It's going to come out with your 2 different tones of warm and cool colors as you change the cold and hot. So it will always be stained after you've used it, but nothing comes off on it. It will, once you wash it, it's going to stay stained, but it's now going to clean all of your stamps. Oops, I forgot to clean this one. See there? See how clean it comes? See, I'm going to hang on to this little soft succulent because that can be used for another card. All right, let's put some of this away so I can put all these in here. So I hope you guys enjoyed these cards tonight. I had so much fun creating these. I'm glad this turned out as good as it did because in my mind, again, sometimes it looks a certain way in my head, but then once you get it out on paper, it's like, oh, hell no, don't do that ever again. Do you guys ever have that problem? Or is that just me? Pretty sure it's not just me. But yeah, sometimes it just doesn't turn out as good as it looks in my head. And this actually turned out way better than what I was expecting it to with actually putting those 2 together. It turned out really, really beautiful that way. So there are all 3 of our cards for the night using Dainty Delight, along with, it is a huge set of dies that coordinates with this stamp set. This is, there are 16 dies in there. Again, the dies will cut out each one of those floral images here. Will it even do this little one? No, it won't do the little one, but all 4 of the sprigs of flowers it will cut out with these ones. And you've got all these different floral little pieces that will work with it. Again, I have used the set of 3. These are in my store. These are in the online exclusives. These are the basic 3D dies. You get 3 of them. I have also used tonight, I used the framed florets, little ovals for this card right here. I have also used the radiating stitches dies. These again are in my online exclusives. That is what this little white rectangle has been cut from. And of course, my stylish shapes, which never leave my desk because I use these for a gazillion different things. They have actually cut out the 2 little layering circles here. So there you guys go. I hope you guys give these cards a try. I'm so glad that you guys like what I have created for you tonight. I absolutely love my job and love creating these for you and bringing beautiful cards and inspiration to you guys. So take care of your guys' selves. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be safe out there. I am definitely praying for those people in the Tennessee area who not only have dealt with the crazy weather there, but also the tragedy that happened earlier today at one of the schools there in Tennessee. That stuff absolutely just breaks my heart because I have children and the majority of you guys have children, and I just could not even fathom what those people are going through. I will be live again on Thursday, the 30th, but it will be for my paper pumpkin alternatives for the 10 years of growth paper pumpkin kit. So if you have this kit, join me. I will be making some alternatives with this beautiful set. And I will see you guys then. Check my events for all my upcoming lives that I'm going to be doing and videos that I'll be posting. And you guys have a wonderful week. All right, you guys have a great night. Bye-bye.